Hey friends, it's Nikayla from the podcast Side Hustle Pro. I'm always looking for ways to keep my kids entertained without screens, and the Yoto Mini has been a total lifesaver. My kids are obsessed. Yoto is a screen-free audio player where kids just pop in a card and listen. Hours of stories, music, podcasts, and more, and no screens or ads. With hundreds of options for ages 0 to 12, it's the perfect gift they'll go back to again and again. Check it out at yotoplay.com. YOTOPLAY.com.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. Like Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day. Yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
You've worked hard to build your business. Simply Safe helps you protect it. With Simply Safe for Business, AI-powered cameras watch over your entry points and instantly alert live monitoring agents. They can deter intruders before they get inside. It's protection built for growing companies. 24/7 monitoring, no contracts, and a 60-day money-back guarantee. To get 60% off your new system, go to simplysafe.com/podcast. That's simplysafe.com/podcast for 60% off. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Hey friends, it's Nikayla from the podcast Side Hustle Pro. I'm always looking for ways to keep my kids entertained without screens, and the Yoto Mini has been a total lifesaver. My kids are obsessed. Yoto is a screen-free audio player where kids just pop in a card and listen. Hours of stories, music, podcasts, and more, and no screens or ads. With hundreds of options for ages 0 to 12, it's the perfect gift they'll go back to again and again. Check it out at yotoplay.com. YOTOPLAY.com.
If you're a smoker or vapor ready to make a change, you really only need one good reason. But with Zyn nicotine pouches, you'll discover many good reasons. Zyn is America's #1 nicotine pouch brand. Plus, Zyn offers a robust rewards program. There are lots of options when it comes to nicotine satisfaction, but there's only one Zyn. Check out zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Hello, I'm Sarah, and welcome to the Whispering Woods After Dark. I've got one long story for you today. It's a strange one, really strange, and I'd love to hear your opinion on it. Do you think it was something paranormal or just coincidence? I'll get straight into it. Are you ready for the story? It's a drab afternoon in the secure halls of Broadmoor Hospital. 2 young women sit side by side at a plastic table, identical down to the tilt of their heads. A nurse watches from the corridor. She can't shake the feeling that something is off. The twins move in perfect unison, raising a cup of tea at the same moment, placing it down in synchronization. Their eyes remain downcast, unfocused on the visitor chatting with them. The visitor, a journalist named Marjorie Wallace, has seen their odd synchronization before. She tries to coax them into conversation. Suddenly, one of the twins, Jennifer, breaks the silence. In a soft, halting voice, she says, "Marjorie, I'm going to die." The words hang in the sterile air. Wallace frowns and gently counters that Jennifer is perfectly healthy. but the twin only nods toward her sister. "We've decided," Jennifer continues calmly. "I'm going to die so June can live." June, sitting beside her, gives the slightest nod of agreement. Wallace's cup rattles in its saucer. She realizes the twins are utterly serious. They have a pact that one of them must die for the other to be free. This declaration was born of a relationship unlike any other. To understand how it came to this moment, a twin coolly vowing to lay down her life, we have to go back to the very beginning of June and Jennifer Gibson's unnerving story. June and Jennifer Gibbons were born on April the 11th, 1963, to Caribbean parents Gloria and Aubrey Gibbons. The twins arrived into the world just 10 minutes apart, and from the very start, their bond was intense. Aubrey's career in the Royal Air Force had the family moving often. By the early 1970s, they settled in Haverfordwest, a small town in Wales. The Gibbons twins were among the only black children in their community, and they faced cruel bullying at school. Taunted for their skin colour and their Barbadian accents, the girls began to withdraw from everyone around them. At home, they spoke in rapid fire to each other, using a blend of English and Bajan Creole so fast and private that no one else could understand a word. Even their own parents struggled to decipher them. Feeling misunderstood wherever they turned, June and Jennifer made a solemn pact. They would not speak to anyone except each other, creating a secret world for two. By the time they were about 8 years old, this vow of silence was absolute. Teachers, classmates, even their older siblings, all were met with wordless stares. Selective mutism became the twins' defining trait. At school, they moved in lockstep, eerily mirror imaging each other's posture and pace. A medic giving vaccinations once noted how strangely impassive the twins were. Neither flinched or cried, their faces blank, bodies stiff as dolls. Concerned by such behaviour, school officials and psychologists tried to intervene. Various therapists attempted to get the girls to communicate without success. Finally, in a drastic measure, officials decided to separate the twins, sending them to different boarding schools, hoping this might force them to open up. Instead, the result was disturbing. Apart from each other, June and Jennifer essentially shut down. Each became nearly catatonic when forced to live and study alone, as if the very life had been drained out of them without their twin beside them. It quickly became clear that their bond, however unhealthy, was unbreakable. The experiment was abandoned, and after some time, the Gibbons twins were reunited. Once back together, June and Jennifer retreated even deeper into their exclusive world. As adolescents, they spent most of their time cloistered in their shared bedroom at home. There they played out elaborate make-believe dramas with their dolls for hours on end. No one else was allowed in. They even recorded some of their pretend doll dialogues on tape as gifts for their younger sister Rose, who was nearly the only person they would tolerate in their space. Their parents and teachers, the twins remained virtually mute and inscrutable. The Gibbons family came to accept that this was just how the girls were. But behind the closed door of that small bedroom, June and Jennifer were creating a rich, if ominous, inner life together. In their mid-teens, the twins' behaviour grew even more unsettling. Their relationship, once merely quiet and exclusive, developed an element of ritual and control. According to Marjorie Wallace, June and Jennifer devised strange private ceremonies to determine who had power on a given day. For instance, each morning they would decide which one of them would wake up first and even breathe first, and the other twin was not allowed to do so until the first had done it. This went beyond childish games. It was as if one twin literally could not start her day until granted permission by the other. Wallace described it as some sinister childhood game that had gone out of control. The twins also moved in an uncanny synchrony. Observers noted the girls walking in step, sitting down at the exact same moment, their eyes flicking in the same direction, as if invisibly choreographed. When Wallace first met them in 1982, she was struck by how they shuffled into the room, one behind the other, sat down together in perfect synchronicity, eyes cast downward, never acknowledging even their own father's presence. It was as though June and Jennifer were two bodies with one mind, communicating in a silent code of glances and gestures that no one else could perceive. Locked in their bedroom for years, the twins poured their energy into creative expression. One Christmas, in 1979, their parents gave them each a diary as a gift. That simple present unlocked a flood. June and Jennifer began writing extensively, documenting their innermost thoughts and the details of their days. Writing soon became an obsession. The twins even pooled their small weekly allowances to enroll jointly in a mail-order creative writing course. They read literature voraciously. Their room was found to contain classic novels by the likes of the Bronte sisters, Jane Austen, even works by Mary Shelley, and these influences seeped into their own work. In that tiny room, the Gibbons sisters were crafting poems, short stories, and even full-length novels, all by hand in neat, cramped script. If they refused to speak to the outside world, they would nonetheless write and make their voices heard on the page. As Wallace later observed, the written world was their world. If you didn't read their diaries, you didn't know them. The fiction that June and Jennifer produced during this time was as disturbing as their behaviour. In 1981, at age 18, June managed to get one of her novels published through a vanity press. It was titled The Pepsi Cola Addict, and it told the story of a teenager seduced by his high school teacher, who then ends up in reform school where a male guard pursues him sexually. The plot was rife with illicit relationships and predatory behaviour, shocking themes for a sheltered teenager to imagine. Jennifer's own stories were equally dark. One of her unpublished novels, The Pugilist, centred on a physician who is so desperate to save his dying child that he kills the family dog and transplants the dog's heart into the child, only for the dog's spirit to live on inside the child and take vengeful control. In another story, Discomania, Jennifer wrote of a young woman who discovers that the atmosphere of a local disco causes people to go insane and erupt in violence. These were not light-hearted teen tales. They were macabre, violent, and eerily imaginative. The twins' inner world clearly simmered with themes of power, chaos, and revenge. Their diary entries from this period are just as unsettling, a window into an increasingly troubled psyche. The twins wrote about their desires, fears, and their toxic codependence with brutal honesty. In one diary entry, June candidly described her twin as both beloved and terrifying. Jay and I are like lovers, a love-hate relationship. She thinks I am weak. She knows not how I fear her. I want to be strong enough to split from her. Oh Lord, help me. I am in despair. Jennifer's corresponding entry was even harsher. She should have to die at birth. Cain killed Abel. No twin should forget that. It's a chilling comparison, Jennifer invoking the Bible's first murderer, implying she sometimes felt the Cain and Abel dynamic with June. June in turn wrote, I'm in enslavement to her, this creature, who is with me every hour of my living soul. And Jennifer declared, can't stand differences between them, fantasizing that her real twin would be exactly identical in every way. Those diary passages reveal a frightening truth. By late adolescence, the twins had grown to love and fear each other, almost as much as they needed each other. They often referred to one another as a shadow or mirror self, and each wondered if she could ever escape that shadow. Their twisted dynamic occasionally burst into real-life violence. The summer of 1981 was a turning point. The twins, nearing 18, attempted to venture into the outside world of teenage experimentation, with unsettling results. They started drinking alcohol and sniffing glue to lower their inhibitions. They even attracted the attention of a pair of local teen boys. In a drunken escapade, Jennifer ended up having a crude sexual encounter with one of the boys, losing her virginity on the floor of a church, while June looked on in shock. Jennifer later wrote in her diary, as if bragging, one of the best days of my sweet life. I've lost my beautiful virginity to Carl. We did it in church. Sorry, God. But for June, watching her twin with a boy was almost traumatic. In her diary, June wrote that she saw a murderous gleam in Jennifer's eyes that night and became scared of her, concluding darkly, she's not normal. Someone is driving her insane. It is me. The rift this opened between them was deep. Only days later, June herself attempted to sleep with the same boy in a desperate bid to not be left out. An encounter that was reportedly fumbled and painful. The twins' first brush with typical adolescent life had only exacerbated their volatility. Soon after, their mutual resentment erupted physically. Jennifer tried to strangle June with the cord of a radio, and in retaliation, June grabbed her twin and pushed her off a bridge, nearly drowning her in a river below. Incredibly, both survived these attempts, but the message was clear. Each twin had at times literally wished the other dead. Isolated, emotionally erratic, and now violently at odds, June and Jennifer began acting out beyond the confines of their bedroom. With no friends or social outlet, they turned to petty crime for excitement. They formed their own little gang of two, committing acts of vandalism around town. They stole bicycles, vandalized property with graffiti, and broke windows just for the thrill of it. Sometimes they would prank call the police to report their own misdeeds, then hang up and run off before authorities arrived. The twins seemed to be daring someone to catch them. bored by minor mischief, they escalated to more serious crimes. June wrote with glee in her diary about her plans. "I'm planning on making petrol bombs. I'm going to be the biggest arsonist around." On October the 24th, 1981, the twins carried out one of these plans. They broke into a local tractor store on Snowdrop Lane and set the building on fire. As the flames roared, June felt a twisted sense of accomplishment. "It was the biggest night of my life," she wrote that night. "My lovely, glorious fire was licking its way through the roof. Thick smoke filled the night sky. It was a picture which will live in my mind forever. Oh, what a sinful, evil, selfish mind." Despite acknowledging what she'd done, June ended that entry by asking for understanding. "Don't I deserve to express my distress?" The fire setting was her gruesome form of self-expression. 2 weeks later, on November the 8th, 1981, the twins attempted to burn down another building, a local technical college. This time, they were caught in the act. Police officer, alerted by breaking glass, arrived just as June and Jennifer were about to ignite a fire inside the building. The girls were arrested on the spot. When investigators searched the Gibbons twins' bedroom, they hit the jackpot of evidence, dozens of diaries and stories meticulously documenting years of delinquency and arson fantasies. The twins had essentially written confessions for everything they'd done. In 1982, 19-year-old June and Jennifer pled guilty to charges, including burglary, theft, and arson. But instead of a normal juvenile punishment, the court opted for an unusual and severe sentence. The twins were declared mentally ill, psychopathic, and ordered to be detained indefinitely at Broadmoor Hospital, Britain's highest security psychiatric institution. Effectively, it was a life sentence. Juvenile delinquents get 2 years in prison. "We got 12 years of hell because we didn't speak," June later lamented. In their silence, the system saw madness. And so in May 1982, the silent twins entered Broadmoor. At 19, the Gibbons sisters suddenly found themselves among some of the nation's most notorious criminals, murderers and violent psychopaths far older and more dangerous than they were. The environment at Broadmoor was anything but the paradise the girls had naively imagined from doctors' descriptions. Locked doors clanged behind them at every turn, and guards watched their every move. Within days of arrival, the twins' mental state took a nosedive. Deprived of their usual privacy and still not speaking to others, they struggled immensely. June fell into a near comatose depression, a torpor, and even attempted suicide, only a few weeks in. Jennifer, on the other hand, lashed out. At one point, she violently attacked a nurse without warning. The staff responded by placing the twins in separate wards for a time, hoping to curb their influence on each other. Broadmoor's treatment regimen was harsh. The twins were heavily medicated with antipsychotic drugs, so much so that Jennifer developed tardive dyskinesia, a neurological side effect that caused her to have involuntary jerky movements. The medications clouded their minds and made it difficult to focus. Even so, the sisters managed to continue writing in their diaries for a while, documenting the daily nightmare of their incarceration. "We are forgotten, faded away, never to be seen again," June wrote despondently from behind bars. Jay and I are two twins of history. Life will go on outside, passing away. Where are we now, they will say. Her words captured the despair of being locked up, silenced, and invisible to the world. Years passed slowly at Broadmoor, nearly 12 years in total. During that time, the twins lived a strange existence. Occasionally, they participated in hospital activities. They even joined a choir and had brief flirtations with male inmates during supervised social events. But much of their time was spent in isolation or in the company of staff who still found them largely uncommunicative. Review boards came and went, always deciding the girls needed more time inside. Frustrated, June and Jennifer tried to cooperate in hopes of earning release. They even attempted to speak with doctors a bit to prove they were improving. It didn't help. We went to the doctor. We said, "Look, they wanted us to talk. We're talking now." He said, "You're not getting out. You're going to be here for 30 years, June recounted bitterly. Feeling hopeless, she wrote letters to anyone who might listen, even a plea to Queen Elizabeth II, asking for mercy. But nothing changed. We were trapped, June said simply. Inside the hospital, the twins' already volatile relationship swung between extremes. Deprived of other interaction, they became each other's whole world once again. And that world could be vicious. Jennifer's mental health deteriorated in the late 1980s. She reportedly began to experience paranoid delusions. She accused June of plotting against her, at one point hissing, "You spiked my drink, didn't you?" over some imagined betrayal. She also told her sister she heard gunshots outside her window at night when no one was there. Doctors noted schizophrenic-like symptoms in Jennifer. For a period, the staff allowed June and Jennifer to interact freely on the same ward, monitoring what would happen. The result was explosive. The twins, who had always been either eerily passive or self-destructive toward themselves, turned on each other with physical ferocity. They got into violent fights, kicking, scratching, and attempting to choke each other, essentially non-stop for days on end. They went on for months in cycles. Nurses would pull them apart and sequester them in solitary confinement to cool down. Separated, the twins would break down weeping and beg to be reunited, apologising profusely for hurting each other. The staff were bewildered. June and Jennifer truly could not live with or without each other. As June later summed up, when they were together, they wanted to kill each other. When they were apart, they were so lonely they wanted to die. Throughout the turmoil, one person remained a lifeline for the twins, Marjorie Wallace, the journalist who had first covered their case. Wallace visited them regularly, gaining more of their trust than perhaps any other outsider ever had. She had read through the mountains of diaries and manuscripts the twins produced, over 1 million words of it, and she truly listened to them. Over the years, Wallace became both biographer and friend. It was to Marjorie Wallace that the twins finally revealed the darkest secret of their bond. For as long as anyone knew, June and Jennifer Gibbons had shared an understanding. If one of them ever died, the survivor must start speaking and living a normal life. In their youth, it seemed like a hypothetical promise, a way to insist that whichever twin remained would not continue the silence alone. But as their years in Broadmoor dragged on, that abstract idea morphed into a very real and morbid plan. The twins became convinced that their only way out of the institution and out of the strangling grip of their dual existence was if one twin sacrificed herself for the other. They agonized over the decision in secret. After much discussion, Jennifer, the one who had usually been dominant, agreed to be the sacrifice. The sisters decided that Jennifer would somehow, some way, give up her life so that June could finally be free of their bond. Marjorie Wallace vividly recalls the day the twins told her of their pact. During one of her visits to Broadmoor, she sat with them having tea, a young daughter in tow. Out of nowhere, Jennifer said to her, "Marjorie, I'm going to die." Wallace was startled and tried to object, but Jennifer continued calmly, "We've decided. I'm going to die." June then added in a quiet voice, "Yes, we've decided." The twins then handed Wallace several notes they had written, laying out their decision. Jennifer would die so that June could live a normal life. They explained that June was the elder twin, the more vivacious and promising one. It was only right that she should have the chance to experience life fully for both of them. Jennifer would do her part by making that chance possible. Unsure what to do, Wallace warned the Broadmoor staff of what the twins had said, but the doctors didn't seem overly concerned at the time. After all, how could one twin simply will herself to die? Yet not long after this ominous declaration, events unfolded that still defy explanation. In March 1993, after 11 years locked away, the 29-year-old twins were approved for transfer out of Broadmoor. They were moved to the lower security Caswell Clinic in Wales, a step closer to eventual release. On the morning of March the 9th, 1993, the twins left Broadmoor in a van, accompanied by nurses. Both were elated to finally leave the beast, as they called Broadmoor. Witnesses later said Jennifer seemed oddly lethargic that day. On the ride, she rested her head on June's shoulder and murmured, "At long last, we're out." Those were among her final words. By the time the van arrived at the Caswell Clinic, Jennifer Gibbons was unconscious, eyes open but unseeing. She had inexplicably slumped onto June during the drive, staring blankly. Arriving staff could not rouse her at all. Jennifer was rushed to hospital, but within hours she was pronounced dead. Just as she foretold, Jennifer died on the very day of their release. The cause of death only added to the mystery. Doctors found acute myocarditis, an inflammation of the heart, a condition that can cause sudden cardiac failure. But Jennifer had not been ill prior, and extensive tests showed no poisons, no drugs in her system that could explain it. The heart just gave out. One pathologist remarked that he had never seen such an inflamed heart for no apparent reason. At the inquest, Marjorie Wallace and others recalled the twins' pact. It was as if Jennifer's will to live had simply stopped. June later confirmed that in the day leading up to their transfer, Jennifer had been behaving strangely, slurring her words and saying that she felt she was dying. During the journey, Jennifer's eyes remained open in a fixed gaze, even as she apparently lost consciousness on her sister's lap. In the first days after her twin's death, June's emotions swung from relief to anguish. Visiting her in the hospital, Marjorie Wallace found June in an oddly euphoric state. "I'm free at last, liberated. Jennifer has given up her life for me," June told her, with a strange light in her eyes. The lifelong battle between them was over. June felt like a great weight had been lifted. And indeed, almost immediately, June Gibbons began speaking. To doctors, to family, just as the twins had promised would happen. But June also experienced an immense wave of grief. That night, June wrote in her diary, "Today my beloved twin sister Jennifer died. Her heart stopped beating. Mum and Dad came to see her body. I kissed her stone-coloured face. I went hysterical with grief." In one stark stroke, June had gained freedom and lost the only person who had ever truly understood her. It was everything the twins had asked for, and the most devastating thing that could have happened. Jennifer Gibbons was laid to rest in St Martin's Cemetery in Haverfordwest, Wales, not far from where the twins grew up. On her headstone, her family inscribed a short poem that June wrote in tribute. "We once were two, we two made one. We no more two, through life be one. Rest in peace." Those lines capture the twins' story in brief. Two lives intertwined so tightly that, in the end, they became as one. After Jennifer's death, true to the Pact, June Gibbons finally emerged from silence. The remaining silent twin began to speak to the world that had long watched her with fascination. She gave interviews to journalists, including Harper's Bazaar and The Guardian, discussing her and Jennifer's strange journey. She was polite, articulate, though still soft-spoken. Broadmoor authorities, having no reason to hold her without Jennifer, released June from the Caswell Clinic in 1994, 1 year after her sister's passing. Stepping out into the world at age 30, June had to learn how to live as a single twin.
Hey friends, it's Nikayla from the podcast Side Hustle Pro. I'm always looking for ways to keep my kids entertained without screens, and the Yoto Mini has been a total lifesaver. My kids are obsessed. Yoto is a screen-free audio player where kids just pop in a card and listen. Hours of stories, music, podcasts, and more, and no screens or ads. With hundreds of options for ages 0 to 12, it's the perfect gift they'll go back to again and again. Check it out at yotoplay.com. YOTOPLAY.com.
A lot of supplement brands chase trends, but if you're serious about your health, we know research-backed science is what actually moves the needle. Momentous works with the best brains in human science to create every formula, and every batch is made of pure ingredients, tested for safety, and does not contain fillers. So you get the best long-term results possible. Creatine isn't just for muscle gains, it's essential daily fuel for your brain, body, and long-term performance. Momentous CreaPure Creatine is backed by leading performance experts like Dr. Andrew Huberman and Dr. Stacy Sims. Sourced exclusively in Germany, CreaPure sets the gold standard for creatine, delivering the purest form, creatine monohydrate, that's rigorously washed and never cut with fillers. With over 2,000 5-star reviews, over 112,000 customers have seen the results firsthand. With Momentous, the fundamentals are done right. Right now, Momentous is offering our listeners up to 35% off your first subscription order with promo code ACAST. Go to livemomentous.com and use promo code ACAST for up to 35% off your first subscription order. That's livemomentous.com, promo code ACAST.
It's just that really strong connection. That's what I think. And I think if you focus on something so hard and you've kind of already made your mind up that's what's going to happen, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? It's like an intention that's really set in stone and it's going to happen. It's just so bittersweet, I think is the term I'm looking for. Because it did seem that one of them had to die, unfortunately. And that's really sad. Because you'd think that, being around the doctors, that this kind of issue, because it must have been mental health, would have been sorted for them. But nobody seems to have managed to do that. So then it also makes me question, could it, or was there something paranormal, supernatural going on with these sisters? They were obviously in the womb together. They are the same person, but not. Oh, I could bend my mind all over the place thinking about this. Well, that's the end of this episode, and we will catch you again tomorrow. Take care, everyone.
Hey friends, it's Nikayla from the podcast Side Hustle Pro. I'm always looking for ways to keep my kids entertained without screens, and the Yoto Mini has been a total lifesaver. My kids are obsessed. Yoto is a screen-free audio player where kids just pop in a card and listen. Hours of stories, music, podcasts, and more, and no screens or ads. With hundreds of options for ages 0 to 12, it's the perfect gift they'll go back to again and again. Check it out at yotoplay.com. YOTOPLAY.com.
Hi, this is Knox from the podcast with Knox and Jamie. And maybe like us at the podcast, you also know people who have been smokers or vapors. And Zyn is the one product it seems like everyone is talking about. Because there are many good reasons to make a change to Zyn nicotine pouches. Reasons like Zyn nicotine pouches are still America's #1 choice for smoke-free, hands-free nicotine satisfaction. And you can choose between 10 varieties, each variety available in either 3 or 6 milligrams. Check out zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Hey guys, let me let you in on a little secret. I've obviously turned staying into bed into an art form. It's my happy place. It's my shopping sanctuary. And honestly, it's the perfect place to hang out with all my favorite people. So join me and some of the most interesting people I know for shopping, some laughs, and maybe a few secrets, all from the comfort of my bed. The best part, you can watch from your bed. My show, In Bed with Paige DeSorbo, returns Monday, November 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Amazon Live. Just open Prime Video on your TV and search Amazon Live to cozy up. Because why get out of bed if you don't have to?
The stories told on the Whispering Woods are inspired by historical records, witness reports, and local folklore. While every effort is made to research and represent events accurately, some details, names, and locations may differ from official accounts or have been changed out of respect for those involved. These episodes are created for storytelling and entertainment purposes and should not be considered definitive fact or investigative journalism.